service, and 5 is physical touch. Read the book together. Do the exercise in the back of the chapter. And get to know each other. So you know which one is the language of your spouse. So that this way you can begin to love them, honor them the way, knowledgeably, okay? Not just guessing, but really honor them by understanding who they are, okay? Well, number 2 is that we want to, first of all, honor her properly, but secondly, we want to honor her patiently. We want to honor our moms and wives patiently. At first, I was thinking to honor her physically because, we came out of our moms, right? There's a physical connections for 9 months, and our moms is the one who feeds us, changes our diapers, and so on and so on. But I choose this one instead of, because I wanted to make it all with peace, okay? So now don't start guessing what number 3 is, okay? Just focus on number 2 here. Honor her patiently because 2 things, the reason why I chose patient. Number 1 is because 1 Corinthians 13 says that love is patient. The first definition of love is patient. So if we want to honor our moms or we want to love our moms, one of the greatest ways is to show patience towards them, right? Because that is the first definition of love. One way we can practically show love to our spouse or love to our moms is to show patience, to be patient with them, especially if our moms are getting old, is getting older. Now, in the New King James Version, it says love suffers long or long suffering. Okay, it means that we're willing to bear a burden for a long time, even though we don't know when it's going to come to an end. It could be a long journey, it could be a long road, but we continue to love them with a long journey. Now, I've talked to some moms, and I know that many moms here have suffered a long time for their children, their child. I mean, I remember when my mom told me that when she got pregnant with me, it was a harder pregnancy compared to my sister. She got sick more often, she got sick earlier, and so I just think that for a moment, and how much our moms suffered a long time for us. How my mom particularly, how she had to bear with me for 9 months, and she is sick, and morning sickness, and throwing up, and all these things. And even the process of giving birth. Think about that. And then for some reason, I don't know if I told you this story before, but for some reason, it stuck in my mind. I still remember when I had to have a surgery to have my tonsil taken out of, from me in Indonesia. That night we had to stay in a hospital or in a clinic, whatever it was. But I was very young. I can't remember the building, but I remember that night we had to stay overnight. And the room, not unlike like over here, it's very hot. There was no air condition. I was uncomfortable. I was crying a lot. And in the middle of the night, I would wake up. I would be sweating, and I would be in pain, and I would be complaining. But every time, for some reason, it's vividly burned into my mind. I remember thinking that every time I got up, my mom was there. My mom was sitting there in a chair, ready to comfort me, ready to kind of like alleviate my pain or discomfort, by giving me water or hugging me or caressing me just to make me fall asleep again. I just thought about that and said, how much our moms loves us. Or how our mom, whenever we get sick, they make special soup or take care of us. I don't know about you guys, but my mom believed in kerokan, Oh man, I hated it so much back then. She said, no, kamu masuk angin, come on. So she would open your shirt and she would and I would be so much in pain because I really don't believe in kerokan back then, okay? Because anybody, when you do this, you turn red. But mom said, no, it's different kind of red. It's dark red. She goes, yeah, well, it's how much pressure you put. I said, Mom. But the funny thing was, I remember in high school, I got sick, and my mom did that. And my mom is very symmetrical. She does it this way and then this way. So it's like all strapped like this, all my back. And then I have phys ed, PE, right? Not my name, okay? Physical education. So, in the gym, you got to take off your clothes and get changed for basketball, So I took off my shirt. I forgot I was kerokan, So my friend said, oh, Ed, what happened to you, man? What happened to your back? I said, oh, I was Jesus. I was trying to be Jesus, being striped. But there was just one moment. But the point is, our mom cares for us so much. But here's the second reason why I chose patiently. And it's because I was quite convicted about this. My mom just went home to Toronto, but she lived with us, for about 6 months, from October until beginning of April. And in those 6 months, I noticed that her health has, going down. She's 85. And she's walking slower than usual. She gonna go up and down the stairs more difficult now. And every time I talk, she would ask me to repeat, so I have to repeat myself more. She would talk to me and she would repeat herself more as if I had never heard the first one, or she totally forgot, and she would tell me over and over the same thing, the same story. And when we're walking somewhere, I would try to walk as slow as I could, and yet she's still behind me. And you know what I'm saying? And at least 2-3 times she almost burned our house. She tried to cook and she forgot totally that she had the stove on, and the water or whatever she was cooking totally dried out and just smoke everywhere. And so during that 6 months, you begin to feel frustrated. And you begin to feel, you can feel it, you begin to feel a bit restless and impatient towards your elderly mom. And so I'm convicted about this, and this is why I prepared this. I told my wife today, I said, when I prepared this message, I was really convicted. Because you have to understand, we live in a society where we constantly measure progress with speed, right? We want things that goes faster and faster. When the new iPhone came out with the 3GS, they compared to the 3G, it's because it's a lot faster. When you buy a new computer, not only do you expect more memory and more, capacity, but you expect it to go faster. Since the time, microwave started until now, whether it's computers or phones or internet, we want speed. And if we don't realize this, if we're not careful, we are conditioned to demand or expect speed from progress, from things. And without realizing it, sometimes we may demand it from people. And sometimes we even demand it from God, expecting God to answer us now. It's like that person who says, God, teach me to be patient, but teach me now. Okay, I want to learn to be patient now. You know what I'm saying? That's a problem with us. We expect even God to respond to us immediately, where God is never in a rush. And without realizing it, sometimes we may pass this on to people. Let me read to you a letter that's read by James Dobson on Focus on the Family, from an 80-year-old mother preparing for her birthday, what she wants from her children. So she wrote this, and this is what it says to her children. To all my children, I suppose my upcoming birthday started my thoughts along these lines. This is a good time to tell you that what I truly want are things I can never have enough, yet they are free. I want the intangibles. I would like for you to come and sit with me, and for you to be relaxed. We can talk, or we can be silent. I would just like for us just to be together. I need your patience when I don't hear what you say the first time. I know how tiresome it is always to be repeating, but sometimes I must ask you to repeat. I need your patience when I think too much about the past, with my slowness and my set ways. I want you to be tolerant with what the years have done to me physically. Please, be understanding about my personal care habits. I spill things. I lose things. I get unduly excited when I try to figure out my bank statements. I can't remember what time to take my medication, or if I took it already. I take too many naps. Sometimes sleep helps to pass the day. Well, there you have it. Time, patience, and understanding. Those are priceless gifts that I want. Finally, in his letter, the Apostle Paul wrote, I can do all things through Christ which strengthened me. I know I can too. It's a wonderful feeling to know his eye is on a sparrow and I know he cares for me. I guess being old isn't so bad after all. Love, Mom. When I read that letter, I have to say that at least 75% of what she wrote, I would say is exactly what my mom wants from me. Probably more than 75%, 80%. Maybe not exactly in that way, but I know that the content of that letter, I would say 80% plus, is exactly what my mom would expect from me too. And so I'm convicted And I'm reminded